So actually that answered one of my questions because, sometimes we're not able to get a biopsy, we're not able to get the last pathology, and we're just able to get liquid biopsy. And on the NGS, you see the ERBB2, but, there's no way for the liquid biopsy, for the IHC. So that's one of the obstacles. But anyways, I had two questions. The first question is, do you see, or do you, in your head, do you think like the objective response is going to be different for HER2 IHC 0, HER2 IHC, ultra low 1 plus and 2 plus? That's the first question. And the second question is, how do you think about the efficacy of Datroway or daratumumab deruxtecan, completely different mechanism of action, as the next line of therapy after Enhertu?
Got it. All right. It
Excellent
was only a matter of
questions.
time. Let's mark
Yeah.
the time. The ADC after ADC question was posed. But before we tackle that one, maybe you can talk a little bit about the amount of quantitative and then what type of responses you expect.
I'll be quick. Before the data was published, I was like, oh yeah, those HER2 2 plus patients should benefit better than the 1 plus. The data look exactly the same. It doesn't matter. And as long as there is some HER2 receptor on the surface, it works. So that's a quick answer. And ADC after ADC, and I'm actually gradually switching myself. In the past, I like the sandwich. I truly believe that if the payload is similar, that we got to give something between. And I'm actually slowly, gradually switching that, I don't want to give ADC after ADC in the way, again, I think it's important to move up and make sure we prioritize the more effective treatment, give them those effective treatment first, and I do not want them to lose the opportunity to get an effective treatment.
Yeah, so it's interesting, going back to this H score, it's funny because a HER2 2 plus in theory responds better than a HER2 ultra low.
Yep.
But compared to the comparator arm, both outperform the comparator arm. So the hazard ratios are the same when you do like comparisons, but when you look at a patient with high level expression and slightly lower expression, there's a difference. They're still better than chemo for both scenarios, but there's a difference. So I think that's the way to explain that. And then, I agree with you on the other
ADC after ADC.
Yeah,
I know
ADC.
I was very stubborn for a while.
I'm still stubborn, but I think there are lots of good agents, so I'm going to reach for them. We'll see. I think the payload is more of the issue than the targeting part of the ADC TROP2 versus HER2 in the case of Datro versus trastuzumab deruxtecan, obviously.
Yeah, I agree. But at the end of the day, we don't have perfect data, and it would be ideal if we understand why that patient is progressing. Is that because of the payload?
Mechanism of resistance is key.
Yeah, that's important. We just don't know.
Yeah.